Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here in your beautiful city of Sydney this morning. I'd like to thank the team at One to One for arranging a great venue and setup. So Mkango Resources is a TSX venture exchange AIM dual-listed company. We're a rare earths development company. Management based in London in the UK, and the project's in Malawi, which is in Central East Africa. I'll quickly go through the disclaimer pages. I'll leave you to read through those later. Rare earths, very topical at the moment. The market's changed considerably over the last few years, and it's all about neodymium and praseodymium, primarily because they're the most important rare earths that are used in electric vehicles. 93% of the electric vehicles, that's including the hybrids, use rare earth permanent magnet motors. Each permanent magnet motor contains 0.7 kilos of neodymium and praseodymium. That's expected to increase up to a kilo by 2025. You can see from the diagram there that there's many other uses for rare earths within the vehicles, and there's also the wind turbine use as well. There's accelerating demand for electric vehicles. There's no question of that. We're seeing it in Europe, in North America, certainly in China and Asia. Global passenger electric vehicle sales are expected to rise to 32 million by 2030. You can see the graph on the right showing the amount of neodymium and praseodymium oxide which is expected to increase in those motors. So these are big demand factors. The permanent magnet motors are expected to increase by 350%, the demand, between 2018 and 2025. So we're looking at increasing use of these rare earths in the actual motors themselves. But how are we going to meet that demand? An additional 25,000 tonnes per annum of NdPr are required for electric vehicles by 2020. Now, these are figures that have been produced by Adamas Intelligence. You can look at Roskill as well. These are well-known numbers that are going through the market. So there is a demand there, but that's just the electric vehicles. There's also the wind turbine. A 3 megawatt direct drive wind turbine uses around 1.7 tons of rare earth magnets. And over the next 5 years, the installations are expected to grow 5 times. There's very few advanced rare earth projects outside China positioned for this demand growth. We're one of maybe 4 or 5 in the world that are at that stage. We're fully funded to complete a feasibility study. That's currently underway. I'm actually over here in Australia, having just visited ANSTO, off to Perth later this afternoon to meet up with SGS and ALS. We're targeting production of 2,000 tonnes per annum of NdPr by 2022. We've also recently invested into a UK-based permanent magnet recycler, a company called Hypermag. Now, that's commercializing a new technology which is fully patented in Europe, in North America and Australia, and we're very excited about the future for that part of the company. Mkango. We're in Malawi. Malawi is known as the warm heart of Africa. It's in Central East Africa. It borders with Zambia, Mozambique and Tanzania. It's where Madonna adopted her children. It's a very safe jurisdiction. It's not West Africa, and we've been working there for almost 12 years, and on this project with Mkango for 9. It's a very stable jurisdiction, and it's a democracy. Sustainable development, CSR, these have been topics over the last 2 days. These are integral to our vision of moving Mkango forward. It's important to have a social license in country, and we're the founding member of the EITI process in Malawi, and also we're founding members of the new rare earths international association, which is based in Brussels. Magnito, I've already mentioned, is a subsidiary company which is focused on our downstream technologies, looking at recycling of magnets, but also looking at new technologies for producing rare earth metal alloys. We're in a very strong financial situation, and as of June 2019, we had 11 million US consolidated cash in the books. Just to give you a brief summary, we completed a PFS, pre-feasibility study, in 2015. The resource was updated earlier this year in 2019. We're looking to complete the bankable feasibility study by the end of next year, and first production 2022. We have a strong strategic partner in the form of Talaxis. They're a 100% owned subsidiary of Noble Group. They invested £12 million into the Songwe Rare Earths project for a 49% interest. That enables the bankable feasibility study to be fully funded. They've also got an option to increase their interest in the Rare Earths Songwe project, and they can increase to a 75% stake by providing the financing for the project development. Mkango will keep a 25% free carry. They've also invested in Magnito, the Mkango subsidiary, which has the Hypermag investment in the recycling of rare earth magnets. The Songwe project was first identified in the 1930s. It's a known carbonatite. It was then drilled by the Japanese government in a government-to-government program in the early 1980s. A very small historical resource was discovered. We had our initial 2 drill programs in 2011 and 2012 and came out with a compliant resource of 31.8 million tonnes. We completed a further drill program last year. We've increased the compliant resource to 48.5 million tonnes. We don't need to complete any more drilling, and we've got broad zones of carbonatite-hosted mineralization and with good mineralogy which can be processed. You can see here on the left the pre-feasibility study resource, both the indicated and the inferred. You can see how we increased it by 60% last year with the increase in drilling. That's for the measured and indicated. And, that will sustain, a production increase and also help with the mine life. Malawi is a great country. As I mentioned, it's known as the warm heart of Africa. The management of the team, we founded the company. We've been working on the project for the last 9 years. And that means very long-standing relationships with the government, with the local communities, from the guys that work on our road crews, to the security, to the village elders, to the chiefs, right through to the president of the country. We've had recent visits by the Honourable Minister to the site. We've had the British Ambassador, British High Commissioner visit as well. And we have close relations with the US government and the Chinese government as well within country, and of course the Canadian. So we get support from all the sort of superpowers within Malawi. So Malawi is also blessed with fantastic infrastructure. And you can see on this map here, I'm not sure, no, it doesn't work. But you can see this dotted line here. This is a brand new railway line which goes from Tet across to Nacala, which is a deep water port on the east coast of Africa. And that enables us to gives us a big advantage because we can bring in cheap reagents for the operating of the mine. There's also a lot of investment going on into the country as far as power projects, new hydroelectric, and we've got a great road system as well, which enables us to carry out all of the beneficiation, the hydromet. We'll have acid plants all at the site, and we'll be producing a high-value, purified, high-grade, mixed rare earth chemical product. This will then be exported, and reagents will be brought in and out along this railway line. We're just 2 hours from an international airport, and we've got paved roads to within 6 or 7 kilometers of the site. Social license, I mentioned it earlier, very important for us. We've teamed up with some fantastic local NGOs in the country. We concentrate on education and the 3 primary schools which are surrounding the project. We have a program with a group who paint the school syllabus on the classrooms. We've got scholarship programs where the top boy and girl from each school go on to, we pay for their whole secondary school education. We've got 24 students currently. The first group of those are already applying for university places, which we'll also support. We've also got a school feeding program, which is with another NGO group, where we're feeding approximately 2,500 children a day. This brings huge support from the communities. And so I can't underemphasize the importance of CSR and working with the communities. I won't dwell on the Hypermag investment. We're about to sign definitive agreements on that. It's a very exciting future. In the future, there'll be a lot of magnets coming from the electric vehicles, the hybrid vehicles, wind turbines. We're in a key position working with the top team out of the UK in that industry. We're very undervalued compared to the rest of the rare earth sector, particularly the Australian rare earth companies. You can see Mkango Resources is in the bottom left-hand corner. If you compare us to Arafura or to Hastings with much larger market capitalizations, you can see the gap that we need to make smaller. We're currently £11 million market cap. We want to get back up to £100 million or $100 million. So the investment case, we're undervalued. There's a very strong rare earth price outlook going forward. We're fully funded. We're very unusual in the exploration development sector. We've got the funding. We don't need to come back to market. We've got a pathway to production. We're going to have a huge amount of news flow. We're in a great jurisdiction with major infrastructure developments, experienced management team, downstream growth opportunities, and as I mentioned already, very undervalued. So I would welcome everyone in the room to invest in Mkango Resources. Thank you very much.